I'm like a lone wolf person who's just driven to do his work. I mean, Wildman called me the robot. That was his nickname for me. You mentioned about all these solid people, having solid people around you. Wildman was my childhood, best friend of almost 40 years. Now, another reason perhaps I looked a bit down in the dumps when I did that video with that person who was interrogating me was because Wildman had like less than a month to live, and I'd been on the phone and be telling me what's going on with his physical stuff. And when Wildman's funeral happened, me and Wildman's cousin Hammy were just on the road outside of Wildman's house waiting for the funeral car to arrive, and we were just joking, how strong we were going to be when that car arrived. And as soon as that car arrived, we just started crying our eyes out. And that car, the beginning of my story starts with me, Hammy and Wildman overlooking a quarry at this area of Widnes called Peck's Hill, and there was a tree. We used to sit on that tree and we called it the thinking tree. And I would say to those guys that I was going to go to America and make $1 million and fly you guys over, and that's what I did. And Hammy would laugh at me because I was stock trading at that age. He'd be like, yeah, well, you're stock trading, you're going to do it. And Wildman would say, I've got these red dots, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. As we were following the funeral car, it made a detour to go past Peck's Hill. And
it's all right, Shaun, and this is life, but to feel life all the way through, and to do your best, and have their memories is richness, itself, and to be vulnerable is one of the greatest strengths too, in the right way, of course.
I shouldn't be doing this because here's what happened, right? All these people put out tributes for Wildman. And Wildman's hero when he was in prison was Brian the Taxman Cockrell. And Brian called me and he's at a point and he said, you don't need to be sad, because I think he saw me on the True Geordie where I was crying, and he said, you don't need to be sad anymore. Wildman wants you to have his strength. And after the funeral service, it was amazing. It was 30 minutes. They had like a professional speaker just read Wildman's life like it was a chapter, including the things that we did in Arizona. And ever since then, Steve and I have felt Wildman's strength in me. But the funny thing is, right after that funeral, it's like Wildman from above, and I think he's still doing it, caused chaos with all those people who were attacking me. Because all of those people who were attacking me right after that funeral started to attack each other. And the principals who were behind that power move, what they tried to do to me completely reversed on them and blew up in their faces. And ever since then, you said I've got this controversy around me, but it's not, it's just confined within this group of toxic people and trolls. I've had people from all over the world say they've got my back. I've had the top gangsters from across this country call me up when all this was happening and say they've got my back. And I've got Wildman up there slaughtering my enemies and protecting me from above. And since this year has started, everything has just been surging to record highs. And it's Wildman, he's up there, his strength is in me. And I just really appreciate what you're doing, brother. After everything we've been through.
I know, Shaun, I really know, and I know there's so many other people out there that know, the death of Wildman has been really, really hard for you. And I get it. Shaun, even me, for so many years of the trauma and what I went through, I couldn't feel tears, Shaun. I was like emotionally bankrupt. Not that person today. So, you know, I understand vulnerability can be your greatest and is your greatest strength when it's done in the right way. You ever fight, don't cry, do you? But when you feel a real emotion about something, about the right things, a man can cry about this stuff, Shaun. It shows a lot of strength, a lot of humanity. And a lot of this interview has been about, it's always about the truth. I don't play games, but it's done in the right way, right? And you know, and I want to say, and I'm going to push and pull, people can make their own inference, you know, from that. There's no blaming here, there's no pointing fingers here, right? And so, you know, you've shown a lot in this interview, Shaun, right? You really have, right? You know, thank you for that. It's not an easy thing, right? You know, there's been times I've pushed and pulled it in the right way, you see, because I've learned you can be as ruthless as you want, but if your beating heart behind it is the right energy, you're always going to win. This is another thing with me. I bring the right energy. If I need to be ruthless, I'll be ruthless. It's as simple as that. Because if people are good, I'm going to find out. If they're bad, I'm going to find out. It's as easy as that. This is what I do in my business. I'm very successful because of it. More is always revealed, Shaun, right? People are not stupid. It's up to them what they ascertain from that or what they don't, you know. Good luck to them for that, right?
And one thing, Stephen, is I've never claimed to be a badass and I've never claimed to be a gangster. Wildman was the gangster who opened the door for me to meet those characters. I'm just like a stockbroker gone wild, a nerdy business graduate who had gangsteritis, who thought he was living like a character out of a movie. I'm not a big tough guy. I don't like violence and I don't like fighting. And I think what's caused some of the rivalries with these other new people is they see that I've accomplished a lot and they've seen that there's been some big news headlines about ecstasy kingpin, and then they look at me as just this, how's this nerdy guy done this? But I tell you what, if any of those guys had got in a room with Wildman and spoke to him like they spoke to me, he would have knocked their fucking jaw off their skull and fucking thrown the body parts through a fucking window. I can guarantee that. And they wouldn't have been questioning his fucking authenticity.
Shaun, look, you know, I've been with the most dangerous people in the UK, in the most dangerous places in the UK. I was even termed as one of the most dangerous people in the UK. My experience is anyone can be dangerous when they're put in the right corner. Even the most skinniest guy can stab you in the back and run. It's as simple as that, really, right? So, you know, there's a lot more reality to that kind of issue than the bullshit that's put out about it, right? So we'll leave that, you know, we'll leave that there. But look, Shaun, listen, you know, I want to thank you for coming on, right? You know, I want to thank you for going deep. It's not easy. It's not easy. My intention was to push and pull you here, obviously, in the right ways, as I said, right?
You did really good, man. I didn't expect to get emotional like this.
But to give you the opportunity to reveal the truth. I mean, you're sitting across from someone who is far from silly, Shaun, right? And very, very, very quick-witted, right? So, well done for that. I'm sure there are times, you know, it hasn't been easy. But you've revealed a lot of yourself, you know? A lot of what Shaun Attwood actually is. And this is what I was going for. So, Shaun, thanks for that. Look, you know, and I wish you well on your journey, Shaun. I do. I wish you well on your journey, right, with your work, you know, and all you're doing. I see the stuff that you're doing. It's out there. Everyone else can see the stuff that you're doing. Again, they can take their own influence, you know, from that. I personally had my questions, you know, for you, and I asked for proofs directly as I do.
The paperwork.
You've shown me proofs and stuff that I wanted to see. You know, I said I'm happy with that. Shaun Attwood, you know, I know, you know, you'll come back another time, you know, we'll do some more content. Thanks for coming on, Shaun.
Thanks for having me on. I think it's been like an emotional journey today, and I feel like a sense of relief that you have enabled me to say these things that are being channeled to me through Wildman, because I think Wildman wants people to know these things. And despite the controversy that was circulated by these toxic people, you know, I just want to thank all my followers and all my subscribers, because these guys stick behind me no matter what bullshit is thrown our way, and they enable everything to go from strength to strength. So love and respect to all the people who are, all the wonderful messages that came in when Wildman died, all of the love and support. It was trending on Twitter for so many hours, RIP Wildman. I had no idea that many people followed him and loved him. I was just blown away. His whole family was really blown away. Trending on Twitter for like 6 hours, RIP Wildman, which means someone's posting a message every minute.
It's quite something.
Just that love, just to feel that love come in. And, you know, that just washes away this fraction of toxic trolls and idiots just making allegations that they can't prove. And like you said, you have read the paperwork, you've come here today, asked me these solid questions, and it's great to be able to lay to rest the bullshit.
Thanks for coming on, Shaun.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. Cheers.